Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and welcome back to our review on the 2022 Senate elections. We're going in alphabetical order, and I'm keeping kind of a tab on all the states that I've done with where I generally believe they fall. And remember, when I'm doing these types of forecasts, where I'm not predicting the margin or something like this, where I'm just saying, this is what I think is going to happen in the race, we're talking about a confidence margin. So I'm very confident about, say, Idaho or Arkansas or Alabama, Kentucky, states like that. I really am that confident about Iowa. Less confident states would be such as a Kansas. Connecticut is a weird state, and I could see some improvement for the GOP. But I don't think it's really all that competitive or flippable, right? We don't have any leans, and that's not going to change this episode. But those would be states that I feel are, yeah, they could be battlegrounds, but I have to give one side an advantage. And then we have our tilt would be, yeah, it's probably, a toss-up, a 50-50 state. But if I had to choose, I'd lean it. I'd say this party or this candidate should win. The battleground I'm reserving for states that I could truly see going both ways, and I'm not entirely positive yet which way they are going to go. So we're actually going to go over to Louisiana. This is our first state to look at, and I mean, this is a pretty heavily Republican state. John Kennedy is expected to run for re-election, and he's almost certainly going to win. I don't think that Governor Bell Edwards is going to be all that competitive if he does run. I think this is a pretty... And let's be honest here. Just because you're a Democratic governor, a blue governor in a red state, or a red governor in a blue state, doesn't mean that you are going to win at the Senate level. I don't think anybody would expect Phil Scott, for example, if he decided to run for Senate, to win that election, or Charlie Baker in Massachusetts. Or as my mama calls it right now, Massachusetts, led by Governor Maskey Baker. But yeah, so I really think I think this is pretty much safe red, regardless of what happens. And Maryland, well, this is pretty much the opposite. The only chances are Van Hollen is going to run for re-election, and I really don't see him. I don't see him losing. If he does, and any Democrat is going to win. If it was an open seat there, and say Larry Hogan ran, I could see an argument for it being I could see an argument for it being a 17-point win instead of a 23-point win, something like that. But no, this is not going to be a competitive seat at all. Larry Hogan, like I said, is not running for the seat, which I actually think is weird considering he has presidential aspirations. But hey, he lives in Maryland. What is he going to do? Andy Harris, the representative from Maryland's 1st Congressional District, that's the eastern shore of Maryland. as well as the Delmarva Peninsula part. He is running for re-election, assuming they don't try to district him out. I could really see the Maryland Democrats. I'm not sure they're going to entirely eliminate. I'm still skeptical that they're going to draw out the first and try to make it a blue seat, because doing that and keeping keeping things relatively legal, it's a really difficult task. And the GOP has already said they're going to be very aggressive in suing states that pass partisan maps. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, litigation will take a lot of time. So we could see the Democrats draw out Harris's district, or at least draw it to be more Democratic favorable. Another potential candidate I've heard thrown around is Kim Klacik, who's kind of a conservative Trumpian rising star. I'm skeptical that she'd be able to compete. She did do better in her district than I think a lot of people would have expected. She almost got 30% in November. And considering it has a large portion of Baltimore, it's not a terrible performance, all things considered. If she can actually get that level of support in, say, Baltimore and the D.C. burbs, it's not unfathomable to think she could be, doing better than 40%. But I don't think it'd be within, I don't think she'd reach 43 or 44%. I think that's just a bit too much. But 40% is doable. But as I've said, this is just a safe seat. And then we move into a seat that we know is an open seat, and that is Missourah. By the way, if you would like a Missourah tee, no, I don't have any merchandise yet. But if I did, I would definitely have a Missourah t-shirt. Likes, comments, and subscriptions, and hey, maybe we'll have enough support where I can justify having merch, and you can get yourself a Missourah t-shirt. So, this is a chaotic race as far as I can tell. Anytime there's an open seat, things get crazy. So, the current senator is Roy Blunt, and he said he's not running for re-election, so it's going to be interesting. In 2016, if I remember correctly, this was actually a competitive seat in 2016. The incumbent senator, I thought Kander had been a senator. Okay, I thought Kander had been a senator. He was the Secretary of State of Missourah. Okay. So that was 49 to 46. And in that same year, he ran ahead of Hillary Clinton by almost 16%. So that should tell you just how much Trump won in Missouri. So, moving back onto the Senate race, you have a few declared candidates. Rick Combs, a retired Air Force officer. Oh, he was a Libertarian nominee for governor in 2020. Okay, I like this guy already. Um, Eric Greitens, who was a former governor. However, he only served for 1 year. I wonder why. Uh, why did he serve such a short term? Do. See, why did he? I forget what exactly happened. Oh. So, an affair and there was an invasion of privacy. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. So that's a thing. I was really curious. I forgot about that whole scandal because that almost wrapped up Josh Hawley too, who, by the way, won the Senate election in Missouri in 2018. I was trying to remember that one. Missouri's current Attorney General Eric Schmidt, who is also the former treasurer. Um, there's a few interesting candidates, a few a congresswoman, a congressman, a few congressmen. Um, State senator. Oh, goodness gracious. There's a lot of. Two congressmen, a lot of congressmen. Jesus. Okay, a perennial candidate and businessman. Carl Edwards, really? A NASCAR? Okay. I'm really curious. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. He's apparently a perennially rumored candidate for the GOP. Yeah, like I said, Roy Blunt is not going. A few other politicians. On the Democratic side, I'm interested to see who's rumored. Uh, there's a Marine. Okay, a tech executive. And a former state senator and state representative. Those are who's declared. Basically, no one that I've freaking heard of. The mayor of Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, has expressed interest, apparently. I mean, at least that carries some clout. A civil rights attorney, Chris Koster, okay, former Missouri Attorney General, and Democrats nominee for governor in 16. And a former governor, interesting. A state senator and a former state treasurer are all rumored. And yeah, Yeah, Claire McCaskill has declined. Jason Kander has declined. Yeah, that's kind of a... God, that is very dull in terms of who's... I don't know who the Democrats could nominate who can actually beat any of the candidates other than Greitens. Like, I'll straight up say this. I think Greitens is probably the worst candidate because he's got way too much baggage. It'd make the race a lot more competitive than it should be. I will straight up say that. So I'm going to cautiously put it in likely GOP just because of that. We'll obviously know more as the race progresses. But yeah, that's Republican primary is going to be very interesting. We'll see how much that whole scandal hits the former governor. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. See you next time. Take it easy. Have a very nice evening. Bye-bye. Where is it? Oh yeah, and likes, comments, subscriptions. You know the drill.